Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today I'm showing you how to use and store your collage stash that we created in our last video. So this is a pile of stuff that I was left with when I did my big magazine cull a few nights ago. So I'd cut out all my images and all I've got is some Ziploc small snack bags that I can put my collage bits and pieces in, and I'm labeling them as I go of all the different bits and pieces, so hats, faces, eyes, lips and so on. And I've got a basket that I keep this in, but I would suggest that if you've watched the video I did previously, I had a bit of a play session before I put everything away of putting some different bits and pieces together, and I would really recommend that you have a go at doing that, because if you just cut stuff out and put it into a bag, it's very likely you probably won't go back to it because you don't really know what's in there and you certainly don't know what goes with what. Whereas if you have a bit of a play with the different pieces and see, oh, I really like that, or that went well together, you've already got an automatic start, so it gives you a bit of a motivation to play with what you've got. So here I am just putting them into my box that can sit under my desk, and I've got them there. So this is me starting in my journal. I pulled out the pieces that I thought would go well together, and again, there a lot of the pieces that I had from the play session that you saw in the previous video, one of the dolls that I had, and adding a few extra pieces in that I found as I went. So this page is going to be very simple and it's going to be very collage dependent. So I've just started off, it's in the Dina Wakely mixed media journal, and I've just used her black gesso in the background, which is a beautiful matte colour and it dries really quickly. So I've got some white acrylic ink that I've just put on top of my bottle because that's where I had it, and used a fan brush to quickly splatter it over the background. So now all I'm using is the heavy body gel medium and going over and gluing everything down. Now you could use a glue stick to do this. It depends on the quality of your glue stick. I've never had very much success with glue sticks, and being a teacher, glue sticks and teaching just don't go together really. Everything falls out because they're usually pretty bad quality. So if you've got a really good glue stick, that's brilliant. Please let me know what one you use because I'd really like to have one. I just use the gel medium. I find it works really well, and you can see I'm just putting it on with my finger. You could use a paintbrush, but because it is such a good glue, I find that if I use it on my paintbrushes, I ruin them. I can wipe it off my finger fairly easily. So I'm just going through and gluing all the different pieces down. So as you can see in this picture, she has got one of those freaky milkshakes as her body, a piece of a door as the other part of her body, or a cape I suppose in the background. She's got a necklace as a tiara, a piece of I think it's like a paper star decoration as part of her hat. The wings were actually from Paper Artsy. They're part of their German scrap line, and it was from years ago. I'm not sure if they still sell it or not, but I had those sitting in one of my baskets and I thought they'd be good as wings. I wasn't happy with her lips. I wanted really bright red lips to sort of match the other red in the page. It sort of blended in a bit too much for me, so I was trying to find the perfect set of lips to go with the page. The other pair that you can see on the page that I had there were just too big. It was way too out of proportion for the page, but that's the whole fun thing about this is playing with the proportions and having a go. So now what I'm doing is just going in with a pen and adding some different details. Adding some stripy leggings on, doing some doodly borders around my mock planet because I decided this was going to be kind of spacey. Adding some details onto her dress, so using one of the marshmallows as one of the big buttons, and then adding some other little buttons and a Peter Pan collar. Just having fun. The the great thing about this is it does not need to look realistic. So you can be as nutty as you want with this, add in as much as you want. And if the worst comes to worst and you hate it, you can either take it off your page or you can glue something else over the top. It is very, very hard to ruin a collage. And the best thing about it is because it is so abstract and so funky that there's no right or wrong way to do it. You're purposely playing with proportions, you're purposely playing with things not matching and not being the same, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't quite work, because you can say that's your artistic license and that's the way it's supposed to look. So I'm going in with a red paint pen just to get a little extra splash of red on the page. And again, having the acrylic paints are really, really handy. I love having the paint pens there. They just go over everything really well and you get that opaque look. These magazine pieces are a mix of matte paper and gloss paper, so you can sort of see the glare off some of the glossy pages. To fix that at the end, I'll go over the whole piece with some matte gel medium. One, that will help glue everything completely down to the page and make sure nothing's going to peel off. And two, it just gives everything a uniform coat of matte over the top, so you're not going to have that sort of difference in glare. It doesn't really matter. I did it more to make sure that everything was glued down securely, but if you want to sort of make everything look uniform, that's a really good way to do it. So now I'm just sort of going through looking for a quote for the page. I wanted to have something go down the edge of the page, and I wanted it to be a fairly strong female, so I wanted a strong female quote to go down the side of the page. And basically all I do is just go into Google or to Pinterest, put in strong woman quote and find something. So now I'm going through a magazine and looking for pieces of text because I want to do kind of ransom letters down the side. Any of the stamp sets I had were either too small or too big to put on as a quote, so I thought using the text from a magazine would be the perfect mix. And I found some actually good block quotes as well. Now, I would recommend, if you're going to do this, don't use a fashion magazine, because you would think it would have words like girl and woman and she fairly big, but it doesn't. It's really hard to find full words, which is what I originally wanted, to sort of find the words and put them on. So I ended up having to cut out just sort of same sized font and collect the letters individually. Now at some stage hopefully this will cut out, because it took me forever to find it. And then I started cutting them out and I thought no one needs to sit here and watch all that happen. So what I've done is, on this page or this spread, it had a lot of the letters that I needed, and I decided just to cut it out. I wrote the quote down because I thought that I could work out which letters I need, which letters I need to get. And this is something I do quite often if I'm doing this technique, sort of cross out the letters I've got as I go and work out what I've got and what I still need to find. So once we got to that stage, I thought no one needs to see this, so I skipped ahead, and here I have all my letters cut out. So this is using the matte medium, and I'm just painting on the background and sticking my letters down. So while it looks glossy now, it does actually dry clear, which is a bonus. Now I've got these other two quotes, the Born to Dare. I want all the girls watching here now to know that a new day is on the horizon. I thought that kind of fitted in. I know it's about the Me Too movement, but it kind of fitted in with sort of that spacey type theme, I thought. In the end, I did use the quote, but I didn't end up using the Born to Dare, and I used that in a subsequent layout because I really liked it and I thought it was quite a good piece. I do suggest though, if you do have pieces like this, go back to the sort of the storage at the beginning, put it somewhere that you can actually find it again, because I just tucked it into my journal, which you'll see at some stage, and of course it fell out and it turned over the other way and I couldn't find it, and I thought it was a scrap of paper and I threw it out, and then I found it in the bin again. So having some sort of organisation for your collage pieces, particularly if they come from magazines, is really important, because what the piece that you want to use, once it's turned over the other way, is going to just look like scrap. One of the things you could possibly do is just with a pencil or with some sort of pen that doesn't go through the page, put a line through the back side so you know that that's the back and which bit you want to keep. This is me just going over the whole top of the image with the matte gel medium. Again, like the black gesso, it does dry really, really quickly, but I think I do hit it with a heat gun as well, just to make sure it's nice and dry, because I just want to add some final touches with the white gel pen. So I'm just going around just to highlight the crown. So that's my layout. It's a fairly simple layout. It took about 20 minutes to do, 25 minutes to do, excluding finding all the letters. That did take a while. But it was a really fun piece to do. And again, I don't think it would have come together so fast if I hadn't had that play session. So I hope you were inspired by this and you have a go at some collaging yourself. See you next time.